everyone. Welcome to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward, y'all. Wanted to come on. I know I had posted something yesterday, hot on the heels of this movie that everybody is talking about, Sinners. I'm going to go see it Saturday, I think. But, yeah, I'm just hearing so much buzz about it. I was talking to a close friend of mine on the phone about it, and I wanted to touch upon some things. I know I had uploaded something yesterday about Cain being a vampire. I don't know if you knew this or not. Reading your Judeo-Christian Bible, you wouldn't notice this. It doesn't list it in detail as to what another ideology of what happened between Cain and Abel. But the Apocrypha paints a whole nother perspective on this thing. And I want to get into that today. Because when we speak to vampires, y'all, we speak to mostly the fear surrounding them. I know a lot of upheaval is going on because of this movie, and people are saying it's wicked and it's demonic and all this kind of stuff. But again, I haven't seen it, so I can't say. I'll do a video on it after I see it. But as it relates to vampires in general, they conjure a ton of fear. They do. They come with a lot of fear because, friends, fear, we got to get a handle on this fear thing. I uploaded something today surrounding fear. And, just how we got to, all the teeth and the claws that they show with the fear. It's always a theatrical thing. And you've got to we create, let's just say this, in our minds when we come upon something that we deem fearful, we create all these theatrics, worst case scenarios. We insinuate into what we're reading or hearing, and we think of the worst possible outcome, giving it all of the drama and all the power that that comes with it. These are vampiric energies. Fear is a vampiric energy, friend. And I want to speak to these vampiric energies today. I woke up with this on my mind. I want to lead with it today. I know a lot of things that I post or that I come forward with don't always make sense to you when I post them. You could probably think that I'm talking about a whole nother set of things. Yeah, as I go on in my communications, you will quickly begin to see where I'm going with it. These vampiric energies, such as fear, we spoke to yesterday about the shattering of the internal mirror and how that shattering causes trauma. It always comes with this abrupt, shocking, traumatic experience that then defaults over to fear. Fear is always a secondary whenever these traumatic experiences show themselves in our lives. Yet after the fear subsides, what matters most is what we do. See, what we don't understand is that these things they must come in our lives. There's no way for us to live life without experiencing a crack in our internal projection. And these cracks always come with trauma, and they always come with fear because we're afraid, we haven't had enough time to figure out what's happening, and we only fear things that we don't have an answer to. So quite naturally, they would come with fear because we haven't had enough time to absorb the totality of what we've experienced, nor to be able to make sense of it and formulate a plan, an action plan to come to terms with it or master it. And so, a lot of times we don't ever come to terms with these things or master them because we don't understand them. And we reside in the spirit of fear of them, sometimes for our entire lives. Sometimes we allow the fear of that particular action to dominate us in that particular aspect. I spoke to the movie Split yesterday of the young man in that movie creating fragmented personalities because of such cracks brought on by fear and trauma. And these are the things we must come to terms with, y'all. All of us aren't going to get it. But those that do, this is for you. So I want to speak to the vampiric energies because they're all of these demons that I spoke to yesterday that show up in the form of these cracks in our internal projection. That's what they are. They're demons. They're vampiric demons. All of them. All demons are vampiric. All of them. What makes them vampiric? Because they siphon a particular aspect of our life force. That's what vampires do. When you see Dracula sucking the blood of somebody, that's a life force. That's energy. Without blood, you are not able to live. They're taking your power. It's symbolic of that. Literally, it's that. It's the same way with these cracks in our internal projection. They come to alter how we see ourselves, lowering our vibration, lowering our frequency just by their presence, because they're siphoning an aspect of that. So I want to speak to that. I'm going to use Cain and Abel as an example, and then I'm going to move on. I'm not going to really focus so much on that, but I want to give you something that you can look into and use as a point of reference. And most people haven't heard this story, so I'm going to speak it to you. This is of the life of Adam and Eve in our Apocrypha. You can find this story in any apocryphic book across the planet. They got Apocryphas just like they have Bibles. You can find them everywhere. So this is not like insider knowledge. This is not something that's hard to find. You just have to want to know, and it will be, you will find this. And this is the second chapter of the life of Adam and Eve that I'm going to read to you. So, and after this, Adam and Eve were with one another, and while they were sleeping, Eve said to Adam, her Lord, my Lord Adam, behold, I have seen in a dream this night the blood of my son Abel being poured into the mouth of his brother Cain. And he went on drinking it without pity, but he begged him to leave him a little of it. Yet he did not listen to him, but gulped down the whole. Nor did it stay in his stomach, but came out of his mouth. And Adam said, let us arise and go and see what has happened to them, lest the adversary may be assailing them somewhere. And they both went and found Abel murdered by the hand of his brother Cain. And God says to the chief messenger Michael, saying to Adam, do not reveal the secret that you know to Cain your son, for he is a son of wrath. But do not grieve, for I will give you another son in his stead. He will show to you all that you will do. Do not tell him anything. Thus spoke the chief messenger to Adam, but he kept the word in his heart, and with him also Eve, though they grieved concerning their son Abel. Okay. I know that's probably a bit shocking to some of y'all, because when I first read it, as long ago as it was shocking to me as well. This puts a whole new spin on the Cain and Abel story. They're all out in the field. Instead of Cain striking his brother with a plowing hook, it says that he's drinking his brother's blood, gulping it. So much so that Abel tells his brother, it says Cain was drinking it without pity. That's interesting. Without pity. Cain is gulping down Abel's blood without pity. It didn't say without shame. It said without pity. And then it goes and says, but he begged him to leave him a little of it. Yet he did not listen to him, but gulped down the whole. Nor did it stay in his stomach, but came out of his mouth. Oh, is this how the blood of Abel ended up on the ground? Because Cain had drank so much of it that he had to throw some of it up. Abel is begging his brother. The Bible said, the Apocrypha says, begged his brother to leave him a little of it. As if he knew, he was familiar with this method. And that he knew that if he drank more than a particular amount, he would lose his life. Abel and Cain both knew this. And Cain didn't have any pity. And he drank all of it. So much so that his body couldn't hold it. That speaks to greed. You would have thought his own body would have said, I've had enough. It's discomforting me. I've drank too much. But he drank so much on purpose as to unalive Abel that it discomforted him, that he had to throw it up, release it, a portion of it, from his stomach, because his own stomach couldn't hold it. He drank that much of his brother's blood. And it's showing the scripture, and it's insinuating in such a way that this was not foreign. And God comes, he sends the angel Michael. Michael is God's footman at all times, ain't he? God wants something done, he's going to send Michael. He sends Michael. And he tells Michael to tell Adam, don't tell Cain you know what he did. Don't confront Cain. Because Cain is a wrathful individual. And I want to control this environment. I need to control what's going on here. I don't need any more of this happening. And until I can deal with Cain, don't you confront him, because he might do to you like he did to Adam. This shows the temperament of Cain. Cain is a wild individual. Lawless. Flagrant. But God will deal with Cain, friend. As lawless as Cain had been, as flagrant, God would humble him. Humble him. And God comes upon Cain, and he asks Cain, what happened to your brother? Where's your brother at? And he says the famous line. He's saying, what do I know? Am I his keeper? Or I'm his babysitter now? Is that what this is? He's taking on aspects of his father, Satan. Cain is Satan's son. I told you guys this several videos ago. Eve in the garden had sex with Adam, with the serpent. She got pregnant by Cain. Now you have this wrathful individual brought to life that never should have come into existence. But these fallen ones devised a plan to put them in a game that they were never or should have never been a part of. And what is birthed of this is what the Bible and what all the spiritual texts speak to, of these giants and of these beings, even if Cain wasn't a giant, of these beings on earth eating people, devouring people. This is Cain. And God comes upon Cain. He tells him, you're cursed. And God curses Cain so heavily that Cain says, this is too much for me to bear. This is way too much for me to bear. How can I even bear this curse? People are going to be looking for me and hunting me. There's no way that I'm going to be able to hide from this curse. And God tells Cain, you'll be all right. Basically, I'm going to make it so you'll be all right, but you're going to bear the weight of this curse. And he goes and he travels to the land of Nod and he creates a family and he tries to live. But this is the bloodline. This is this vampiric essence. What is a vampire? A vampire is a mythical creature that feeds on the vital essence of the living. Cain. He fed on Abel's blood, the life force of Abel. But I'm here to tell you that there are different types of vampires, friend. You got vampires that feed off different types of life forces. Not just blood. All different types. Energy is energy. Whether in the form of blood, in the form of attention, in the form of feeling. You have many vampires out here. I gave you the analogy yesterday of these cracks in the mirror. These are these entities. They work through people. Many people think, oh, a vampire is going to come upon me and attack me. It surely works through a person and can get a person to do such things. But it is a spirit that moves from people to people. It's not bound to one particular vessel. I gave you the analogy yesterday of King Solomon talking to the young boy that had this demon in it. And how he had come to the idea of petitioning God to give him command of these demons. He used this boy as an example. King Solomon knew in order to get God's blessing to do something that he normally wouldn't do, I got to make it about the people. Friend, anything you want to do in this life, any kind of covering you want to have over you, any kind of guidance, any kind of particular anointing you need to get something done that is not common, when you go before God and ask God such things, to do such things, it is your intention that matters. Is it about you? Do you just want to do it because you want to be seen by people and you want to be popular and all of that? Or is it about God's children? This is the thing. This is how God allowed King Solomon so much power that if he didn't manage it properly and do exactly as God had commanded him to do, would overtake him. As it did. When God gave King Solomon that ring through the angel Michael, he crowned King Solomon the most powerful man on the planet. Nobody else had that ring, friend. Oh, there were people out here conjuring all kinds of spirits because that's just what the world was about. You weren't somebody unless you were able to do that. Oh, many of us women walk around now and we say, oh, I'm this and that because my body looks a certain way and I got this hair and I got this and that. They didn't care about none of that, friend. Were you able to bring forth children? Oh, what type of children were you able to bring forth? Were you able to birth gods? If a particular star alignment happened at a particular time, could I depend on your vessel to capture that light in your womb? Because if I can, you will be the woman. You're that girl. Yes. This is what it was. So these energies are constantly vying for energy because it's how they live. And I gave you the analogy yesterday with King Solomon and this ring. But it's the same analogy with the vampires because all of these demons that King Solomon had bound in that ring, were vampires. I just couldn't drop it all on you. I build on things. They were vampires. They siphon energy. And he is in control of them. Thirsty, hungry energy that must be fed. And if you don't feed them, you will be dinner. They don't care about no loyalty. They don't care about no understanding. They don't care about no feelings. They don't care about how wise and who your dad is, nor who your God is. They are programmed in a particular way to extract. And they don't fall out of alignment from their program. It's us that always seems to do that. And you mean to tell me God gave a mortal man a ring to control these things, to make them bow to him? This volatile energy? And one item that protected him from it, it was just a matter of time. Just a matter of time before them things outsmarted him. And had he known that, he probably would never have asked for that ring. It's the same way with these vampires. Whether they show up in a person, in their mind, and they must be extracted by way of this ring, or they in a pig, like Jesus did. He cast the demon out from the man and they went into the pig. They need a vessel. All of them siphon your life force, and they don't have to drink your blood to do it. Many of us deal with vampiric energy all day. That social media is a vampire, friend. I'm telling you, that social media, it was a season in my life, I was watching that thing like a hawk. I was watching that thing like a hawk. Like, okay, well, what's going on today? What they got going on up in here today? I'm telling you. It became second nature. And if I don't watch it, I'll do it now. I used to be proud. Oh, I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. Shoot, I sat up and watched social media, though. You gotta laugh at it. It is. We all fall short. Nobody's better than nobody up in here. Learn from my examples. I'm gonna learn from yours. I will never come on here and proclaim myself to have all the answers. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? No. I fall short. But I give it my all. I do the best I can. I really do. I really do. So, yes. So these vampires come in various forms, friend. They all are there to siphon your energy, whether it's your attention. Some of y'all got financial vampires in your life, siphoning all your money. I got a teenager. She one of them. She's siphoning all my money. She uses me. Oh, I said, shoot. I made it all this time in life, not really getting manipulated, to get manipulated by a version of myself. Gladly, happily. It could be emotional vampire, someone that just drains you emotionally. It could be a emotional vampire that, you know, sometimes you got people in this life that don't have no power, friend. They have no spiritual power. You got people in this life that have done so much disharmonious work against other people in their walk that their prayer just doesn't get anywhere. They don't have no power. to get their prayer sent to various realms, or to a messenger that can even get it sent to various realms. Because like I told you, everybody's prayer don't make it to God. This is why God set in an intermediary, Jesus. Because everybody wasn't whole. Everybody wasn't vibrating at a place where God would even acknowledge their prayer. God doesn't acknowledge everybody's prayer, friend. Some people haven't ascended to a level within their own kingdom that is worthy for God to hear their prayer. So God sent his son and said, look, many world systems. I was talking about this movie. You got the Ifa system. You got all kind of indigenous systems that mimic the Judaic system or the Christian system. Jesus in the Christian system is the intermediary between us and God. You got beings in other indigenous systems like Elegua. He is the intermediary between the people and God. So those that are not aligned and calibrated in a way where their walk in life is acceptable enough to come directly before God, they go through these intermediaries. And I know many of you are going to say, well, why can't I go through God? God is too good. Well, it's not that God is too good, friend. It's that our programming is not in alignment to who we are, who we were created to be. And there is a hierarchy. Look at history. God didn't allow everybody to come before him. He didn't even allow the children to come before him. He had an intermediary, Moses, Joshua, Enoch. There wasn't a whole group of people that came before God. Baruch, Jeremiah. It's the same way with us. Same way. So, yes, energy vampires are prevalent today, just as much today as they were in Jesus' time and in Moses' time. There are many of us amongst us that need to have these demons casted out from amongst us. There are many people amongst us suffering ailments because of these demons. And it all starts here. This is the entryway. Just like in movies, they say, "Oh, you got to invite these vampires in. You have to allow them in," and that's metaphoric because you actually do. But how you allow them in is, you proactively go on Instagram. Instagram didn't come to you. You went and did that. You allowed it in. You allowed that situation with that person to get you all riled up like that. You allowed it in. Even though you're not even knowing it, that person provoked you just so you could get riled up because they know the power of your energy. It's some people in this life, friend, that do things to get your attention just for you to pay attention to them. They need your energy. That's how broke they are energetically. That's how bankrupt they are. Once you begin to know it, you ain't paying no attention. I used to have people in my life that would do things that, they thought were annoying me. And initially it worked. It was. Or go slam a door or something. And then I started to figure, okay, well, they're trying to they want me to recognize them, pay attention to them, whether it's notice or to get a feeling, but they need my attention in some way. I could care less if you slam that door. That's your door. Have at it. Slam it. Knock it off its hinges. Whatever. You must take your energy back. You got to be able to protect your energy. And I know it's hard to do. But now In these times today, energy is currency because there are a lot of spiritually bankrupt people around here that don't have any power. So what they'll do is use your power. Yet if you don't feed into it, if you don't pay it any attention, it has no power. Ignoring is the most powerful thing you can do. Peace is power. And a lot of times, peace comes from just ignoring. Wanted to do a video on this today to let you guys know about these vampires out here, because all vampires ain't Dracula. All vampires are not Cain. Sometimes we have vampires all around us siphoning our energy for various things and in various ways, and we do not recognize it. Always looking to be useful. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.